Hello and welcome back to the Witches Brew podcast. I am your host, Amanda. This week's witchy topic is all about divination. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I have a list of different types of divination. Some on here I have tried. I'm going to be honest, most I have not. As usual, I hope that this gives you some ideas, maybe of some things that you want to try, maybe something else you're feeling called to. Some on here are, I feel like, pretty standard. There are some that you might not be familiar with, though. So when we talk about divination, it is typically a means to look to the future. However, I think for the sake of this episode, because there are some on here that are not typically or strictly about the future, I feel like no form of divination is strictly about the future. This can also be like how to communicate with spirits in general, which again is not always about the future. Like some of these, I guess we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So first up, I have what I feel like most people are familiar with, that witches or non, it doesn't matter, is the Ouija board. I have never used one myself, I'm going to be honest. Growing up, I mentioned on here before, like, it always scared me, like spirits always scared me. So I never wanted to communicate directly with them. So like, why would I use a Ouija board? And now, like, I don't really need to. I want to talk to them, I'll just talk to them. But it's a set of letters and numbers, and you have planchette. You have the planchette that moves around. And I feel like as long as you are opening the circle and closing the circle properly, it's fine. Unfortunately, most people don't read the rules. And therefore, it becomes not great. I would also recommend doing this only with people that you can trust. Because you don't want a loose cannon when you're working with a Ouija board. Especially because, like, if something goes down and someone gets spooked and you can't close the circle properly, then like that leaves it open for spirits to come through and to linger. It's like an open invitation to them, which is fine, but not every spirit has good intentions. So just be careful. I feel like I said enough about that. Next up, we have the pendulum. And honestly, I've had this pendulum for, I don't know, I think less than a year. I think I got this in December 2024. I haven't used. I've been having a lot of trouble with my phone storage, and like as I'm talking about the pendulum, a notification pops up saying like my storage is full, even though like I cleared 3 gigabytes yesterday. Okay, well, let's try. I don't know why. Like, okay. We'll see if we can get through the pendulum. Let's talk about the pendulum. So I've had this since December 2024, and I have not used my pendulum. Now, Mine is rose quartz, amethyst, and clear quartz. You can buy them all sorts of different types of stones. You can buy metal ones. You can buy like really pretty intricate ones. You can buy stuff that have like cool stuff on the chain. Basically, it's some sort of point on a chain. I have also used something a little similar where with like you take a needle and a piece of thread, and that can also be used as a pendulum. There's a thing that I do with both myself and also my friends to find out like the order of the gender of our kids. And it's where you take a ring, probably like a wedding ring or engagement ring, and you put a piece of your hair through it. I should do a video on that one. But I've never actually used this one. And in order to read a pendulum, you hold it by the end. You typically have a mat down on the table. You can create your own map just like out of a blank sheet of paper. Typically the answers are in a circle, and you've asked the spirits and they swing the pendulum to whatever answer. So maybe I'll do a video soon where I use my pendulum for the first time on my YouTube channel. Next up we have runes. I am fascinated by runes. And what's interesting, I actually am preparing to film a YouTube video that involves runes that will come out, I think at this point in a couple months, in like a month or two. But to cast runes, each rune has a specific meaning, and they are typically written on small stones, whether those are crystals or rocks, or honestly, I've seen people even use like pieces of wood as well. You ask your question, you kind of shake up the runes, and you see where they fall. Again, not really a mat needed for that. You just have to know what each of the runes means. It's something that I would love to get into someday. I just don't really have the time to add another form of divination. And there are a couple. Actually, the next one is the same thing. Like charm casting is up next, and I would love to start charm casting because I love little trinkets. And that's pretty much what charm casting is a bunch of little trinkets. But I have so many tarot and oracle cards. Like, I also just don't have the space for a bunch of charms. I've tried getting my mother-in-law into charm casting just so I can try it out. It has not worked yet. But charm casting, similar to rune-ish. Each charm will have a different meaning to you, right? And I have my Pandora bracelet on. I wouldn't want to use Pandora charms on it, but I mean, we've all seen charm bracelets, especially millennials. Charm bracelets were huge. It's basically just taking those little charms, putting them in a bowl or something, taking a spoon, picking up the charms in the spoon, and then you have a mat, or again, you can just make your own on a sheet of paper, and you sprinkle them over the mat and interpret based on where they fall. My favorite charm caster is on TikTok and Instagram. Her username is Emerald Lotus. I love her readings so much. They're always very spot on for me. And she does, yeah, she has tarot and oracle cards as well to like enhance the reading, but the bulk of it is storm casting. And the charms that she has are just so cute. So if you are looking into getting charms for yourself, again, Emerald Lotus, she has a shop where she sells charms. My local witchy store also has charms for charm casting, which is very cool because I feel like not a lot of stores have that. I'm also like, I enjoy collecting things. So I feel like charm casting would just like really tick a bunch of boxes for me, but I digress. All right, tea leaf reading. And this is probably the one that I'm least familiar with. Basically, you take the ground up tea leaves, put them in a cup with hot water, drink the tea or drain the tea, and then you read the images left over by the tea leaves. They do this in one of the Harry Potter movies. Actually, I came across a couple tea leaf readers on Instagram for me because I do not remember what their usernames were, but there are a bunch of people that on TikTok and Instagram that read tea leaves. I think it's very interesting. It's just not for me. I like watching it and seeing how they interpret things. Again, just not exactly for me. Dowsing rods. There are a couple people online that strictly do dowsing rods. I feel like dowsing rods are also pretty popular in the ghost hunting community too. And it's 2 rods that you hold in your hand. But the bases that you hold, excuse me, but the bases that you hold, they allow the actual rods themselves to swivel. So the spirits can manipulate the energy and make them cross for yes and go off to the side for no. So you are a little limited in the types of questions that you can ask because dowsing rods are only yes and no questions. But honestly, same can be said for the pendulum. But you can ask other questions. It depends on the answers that you have written out beforehand. I would be interested in trying dowsing rods. I'm sure I will at some point someday. Again, it's just something I haven't had the chance to yet. I love watching other people do it though. Next we have, I guess we'll do tarot and oracle cards next, even though I put it at the bottom of my deck, or bottom of my deck, bottom of my list. So I will be doing a deeper dive into tarot and oracle cards next week because I do have a lot to say about them. I feel like this is, again, these aren't other forms of divination that people are probably the most familiar with after like the Ouija board. So maybe I should have put this up first, but we'll talk more about these next week. I prefer using cards. If you've seen my other YouTube channel, or if you've ever had a reading with me, you know that I use tarot and oracle cards quite a lot. Usually tarot more than oracle cards, but I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to be better about getting myself into oracle cards because I have so many decks that I'm just not using. So that's going to be more for next week's episode. Next, we have dreams. I love doing dream interpretation. Since I think the beginning of July, I've kept semi up on a dream journal. At the very least, I'll just wake up and jot down anything that seems significant. Now, if you are a heavy dreamer, sorry, something just shifted over there. If you are a heavy dreamer, this could be a great option for you. And you can even ask the spirits around you, the spirits that you work with in your practice, your spirit team, whoever you talk to talk to you through your dreams. As you are going to sleep at night, ask them a question, ask them to answer it in your dreams. And then when you wake up, write down what you can remember. Now, I will say I've always had weird dreams, so mine can be a little difficult to interpret, but I generally look for things that stick out to me. There was one dream that I had, and the rest of it is pretty much a blur, but one thing that stuck out to me was my vision in the dream zoomed in on a white rat. And that's what stuck out to me from the whole dream, which was, again, pretty crazy. Also, look for themes that keep reoccurring in your dreams. I guess I'll talk about this one. One of the reoccurring themes that keeps coming up the last 48 hours in my dreams are like themes of, again, trigger warning, I apologize, but themes of like suicide and suicidal ideation, which is very strange because like I know that's not me. Concerning for sure. But again, I'm trying to, so I wrote it down because it's happened 3 times within the last 48 hours where that theme has come up in my dreams. And my interpretation is because it's not really happening directly to me, but people outside of me. And I'm hoping that I'm wrong in this. There might be some themes of that coming up in the next year or so that affect other people in my life, which again, I hope not. I still have to sit down more with my team and really ask them about that one because that one is disconcerting. Moving on, we do have 2 more. I put this on here. It literally says on my list, straight up channeling. Can everybody channel? I believe yes. You have to, it takes time. You have to open yourself up to it. You have to really, really trust yourself, which in my experience, people have the most trouble with. But I do believe that everyone can channel in some capacity. You just have to be open enough to it and you have to put in the work to learn how to channel. It's excuse me. It's like any other skill. Like if I wanted to start painting, now I'm a terrible artist. I cannot draw. I cannot paint. Um, it's just I'm not very good at it. I can color. But right, if I were to put in the time and the work and the effort, if I were to watch videos about it, if I were to take classes on it, if I were to practice drawing and painting, I would get better at honing that skill. And channeling is the same way. It takes practice, and not every system works for every person because every person is different. Now, when this goes up, I will be going on maternity leave in about a month. So I'm no longer accepting new mentees. But if that is something that you are interested in, I am going to be opening up my mentorship program probably May-ish, maybe June. Or there are also other people that you can learn from as well. This is also something that you can teach yourself if you trust yourself. It is definitely a journey. I recommend it though. And the last one is automatic writing, which kind of goes hand in hand with channeling. Automatic writing is, Cindy Casa does it all the time if you watch any of her shows. But that's kind of where the medium puts themselves in a trance like state and writes whatever comes to their brain. It's like they're literally just writing whatever comes through. Typically, honestly, when I'm channeling, definitely when I'm doing automatic writing, I cannot remember what I've written down or what I've said. Like if you've ever had a reading with me, we'll be like half an hour into the reading and I'll say something and the other person will be like, oh yeah, you brought that up 25 minutes ago. I'm like, I did. Okay. If you say so. I feel like automatic writing is a little bit easier for some people to be able to trust themselves. There is, I can't even think of her name right now. I'll have to go back and look at her profile. But she takes a pen and she scribbles as she's channeling. So some people, it really helps just to have something for their hand to do. And that makes it flow a little easier. There's also things like scrying. There is like candle gazing. I feel like candle flames are not as accurate because so much can influence them in the environment. Is that an option? Yes. Does every flicker of every candle flame mean something? No. Sometimes the airflow just changed. But again, was this a complete list? No. Did I do a deep dive on every single one of these? No. Will I at some point? Maybe. Probably. All right. But hopefully this gave you some ideas to expand your practice. Maybe if tarot and oracle cards weren't working out for you, or another form wasn't working out for you, this gave you an idea to try something different. Again, maybe you just found it interesting. I don't know, but I hope it helps. So I will see you back here next week for tarot and oracle cards. What is the difference, the history about them, and pros and cons of each. So I love you, and I will see you then. Bye.